Hey Dreamer, please.
Hi guys, welcome to this video to teach you how to use the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Sheet. Yes, I gave it a name. But before we begin, I just want to say thank you so much for supporting me and encouraging me while I was still making single sheets, and it led up all the way to this particular one, which contains everything that I have created. Believe it or not, I did not have any Google spreadsheet experience prior to this, so it was a great learning journey for me. So let's begin. For the first sheet, it's basically the introduction and the instruction on how to use the respective sheets. Nothing much here, you can read this at your own free time. The second sheet is where everything begins. So before you do anything to this sheet, you have to let it load. You have to wait, because this entire workbook is actually very image intensive. So if you do not let the images load first and you end up scrolling, you may face a lot of lag. Okay, so after everything has loaded, slowly scroll down. As you can see, things are still loading as you scroll, so just let it be. Scroll slowly and everything should be fine. Okay, I will go through each column one by one to tell you whether you should edit it or you should not edit it, and if you need to look out for future updates. But take note that this sheet actually covers heroes all the way to Ludosil, so global players don't have to constantly update all the way until he is released. So for the first column, it is actually the number column. This number column only records heroes who you already possess. If you do not have the hero, it will not register a number for it. So even if Blue Nunchuck Ban has been released in the global server but you do not own him, there will be no number assigned to him. Okay? The number at the top in the header is the total number of heroes in the global server right now. So if you are using the Japanese server and you want to use this sheet for the Japanese server, you can also change the number in the formula. For the second column, it is the group column, and it is split in two main categories, the others and the 7DS Plus list. Now why is this the case? Because chalices used depend on the various group they are in. Okay, so heroes belonging to the 7DS and list group will use the Water of Life, while the others will use Demon's Blood, and hence this column is important. You will need to update this column if new heroes are added beyond Ludosil. Then we have the rarity, so one column is for the image and one column is for the text, and a lot of other columns are like this, so like the typing and the race, so you don't really have to edit too much here, just copy and paste wherever needed. The portrait column consists of all the hero art, and of course I promised that I will try to find an offline solution, and this is the offline solution whereby all the images are no longer linked to websites, so you can safely download this for offline usage. And all the images are recreated by me actually to maintain some consistency throughout the spreadsheet. For the name category and name columns, you may think that why are there two name columns? The main difference lies in heroes who have various forms such as Ban and Dien. Ban has a nunchuck form and a non-nunchuck form. However, when taken collectively, all of them are Bans. Okay, so that is the purpose of the name category column. And another reason why the name category column was created is because for affinity calculation later, we will look at heroes based on their general name and not based on various forms, because all the Bans share one favorite food, right? There's no difference between the favorite food of Ban Nunchuck and Ban. So that is why I have this name category column, and I'll explain more later on. So the type and race, I don't have to go through that. Then we have three columns here, which are the method to obtain, the release dates for different servers. So this one you have to manually update depending on what's gonna happen to our server. JP servers release date, I have already put them up there. If you don't need this, you can actually hide it, and I would prefer to hide it because it is not important for myself. So for type name column, why is there this hidden column? It's supposed to be hidden, by the way. This column comprises of the rarity, the type, and the hero's name. This is a very important column for the spreadsheet, for the entire workbook, because it is the only column that differentiates between the heroes. Now you may have two Bans, you may have two red Bans, you may have two SSR Bans, right? But this is the column that will differentiate every single hero because none of them share the same combination of factors. Okay, and later on I will show you guys why this is so important, so keep this column in mind. You can also hide it. Everything will be updated automatically even when you add new heroes, new roles, so you don't have to bother with it because the formula is already embedded in the header, so you can hide this column. The next series of columns are the ones that you will need to update, and they are denoted by the 2 bold lines. So anything in between you have to manually update as well. First is the ownership column, whereby you tick if you have the hero or not. Now if you do not have the hero, certain things will not appear. For example, the awakening level, the out level, as well as the limit break level and the affinity. So if you do not have the hero, then obviously it won't make sense for you to fill these up. That's why it's grayed out. Now if you do have the hero, let's say I'm gonna use Esterosa for example. Let's just say we managed to pull an Esterosa. Now as you can see, it's still loading, so sometimes these things may happen and you just have to wait. Don't scroll too fast, okay? So let's just say we pulled an Esterosa. First thing you fill up is the out level, which is probably 1/6, and then you can fill up the awakening level, which is 0 star, and then finally the base rarity, which is SSR. Then you fill up the current affinity, which should be 0 unless you already fed him some food. So this is basically all you need to do for a particular new hero that you get. Then that's all. The rest of the information here are extra information, basically the food and the favorite gift. If you don't want to have so much information in your face, you can actually hide the columns, up to you. There are 2 columns here, main affinity and affinity needed. Now these are also programmed and automated columns, so you don't have to bother with them and they should be hidden. The max affinity column depends on the rarity here, which I have keyed in. So it is programmed automatically such that SR units will always have 16,000 max affinity. The affinity needed is going to be very simple math of taking the max affinity minus the current affinity. And then we will use the affinity needed again later on to calculate for the amount of food you need to farm. And basically that's all for this sheet. Do note that in the event that you do not have a hero portrait, okay, certain things, certain values like the name category as well as the hidden column, which is the type name, will not appear. So you will need a hero portrait for that, for these things to automatically appear. Next we look at the hero lookup. The hero lookup is something that I recently created, probably just yesterday, completed yesterday, and it gives you a much more zoomed in perspective of each hero that you want to check. So let's say for Esterosa, green Esterosa, you do own him, you have a 1/6 copy and you need 5 more. Very simple. I know it's very simple math, but I just put it there. And I also listed all the necessary equipment, materials you need to get him from 0 star to 6 star, as well as the various amount of limit break materials, as well as the food that he likes. So if you were to change this to red Esterosa, everything will be automatically changed for you. Sorry, I clicked blue. Red Esterosa, yeah. Okay, so red Esterosa, everything will be changed for you. And you don't have to worry about this not updating to different color books. And also the favorite food here, it really depends on your current affinity. If your current affinity is 0, you will see that you will need a minimum of 40 jerkies and 67 jerkies, because this depends on the normal success and the ultra success rates. Okay, if you do manage to get all ultra successes, then you only need 40. But of course, to be safe, because sometimes we are not always that lucky, you will probably want to prepare 67 jerkies beforehand, and hopefully you get some good rates along the way when you cook. Otherwise, if you get all normal successes, then you will use up all 67. Alternatively, of course, you have the hero affinity resource and the Vanya Ale. So what happens if you select a hero which you do not own? For example, Ban Nunchuck and the blue one. Yeah, so it will say here that you do not own the hero. However, all the other information will still be displayed, and of course there's no affinity for you because you do not own the hero. And basically that's all for hero registration. I'm looking to expand this section, this lookup section, with a bit more information, but till then I'm still in the consideration process because the spreadsheet is already pretty image intensive and I don't want to lag it any further. I do have 2 hidden sheets, okay, with regards to heroes. So remember, these are hidden, so you don't have to open them and to take a look at them. These are all the calculations for the entire workbook, and this also helps the hero lookup to function properly. And it contains all the information that you need, all the images, so you don't really have to touch this unless you feel that there is a formula mistake. And if there really is one amongst all these cells, do inform me, because it's really hard to keep track of everything sometimes. But I really tried my best to bring over whatever was from the previous spreadsheets all the way to this new spreadsheet. For the hero data, currently I only have the coin art. I'm looking to expand this, as I said, to include other things such as skills maybe, or even costumes, but we'll see how that goes. So once again, put this to hide. You don't really need to touch them at all. Moving on, we have the equipment log sheet. Okay, so the equipment log sheet looks a lot better right now compared to what I had before, which was this. Okay, and yeah, all these were the old spreadsheets. So now it's all segregated into different type sets for you already. What you need to do is simply just pick the set that you want. Let's say you do have a HP necklace, so you choose necklace from the drop down list. The image will automatically appear. It may take a while. It is taking a while. Nonetheless, you can just key in the stat. So maybe I'll go with 248. So once that happens, so in the event that your spreadsheet does lag, okay, I would strongly suggest you copy the URL and open a new tab and press enter and open the sheet again. Okay, it will load a lot faster and things will be better from there. Yeah, so as I was saying, in the event that you do have a new HP necklace and you want to register it, you can choose necklace, the image should appear, yes, and then you can key in the main stat. So once you key in the main stat, it will give you the worth of the item, and it will give you an idea of whether you should actually invest in that item, because usually people will either keep those 85 to 100% ones to really invest in. Anything below is not so preferable, but it's totally up to you. Okay, and basically you just have to continue filling up this list. Whether or not you want to keep the item in the list after you have put it in a set is totally up to you as well. To remove an entry, basically you just have to delete these two cells and make them empty, and it will be gone. Okay, over here in row 4, I also have included a totality count. So if you want to find out how many attack bracelets you have, you can just select bracelet from the drop down list and it will tell you 3, and if you want to see how many earrings you have, just select earring and it will tell you 1. So that's in the event that you have a long list and you really cannot keep track. This will help you count a lot faster and easier, and give you an idea of whether you need to spend more time farming for earrings or rings or bracelets. Then we come to the equipment sets sheet. So for this set, I have already pre-included attack set column, attack set rows, HP set rows, association set rows, as well as other unique sets which could include crit damage. Okay, basically what you need to do is really to just choose the set that you want. So maybe this is a defense one instead, and maybe this is an attack one instead. All the images will be displayed automatically, so don't worry about that. And then you will need to key in the main stat for your own reference. Okay, the main stat can be referred to using this floating table, and all these values are actually pulled from the spreadsheet here, from the equipment log sheet. So everything should be there for you to refer to easily, and you can scroll you can even scroll within the table, yep, to get an idea of, sorry, my mouse is a bit weird, to get an idea of which substat you want to use. Usually the attack and defense ones are at the top, so you can key in, for example, defense bracelet. Okay, I currently don't have a defense bracelet. For the attack earring, sorry, for the attack necklace, I have one that is 250. And then for the belt, the defense belt, I have 8 of them. Okay, so I'll key in maybe the 5140. So what happens if you have more than 8 belts in that case? How can you edit this floating table? Very simple. In the event you do have 9 belts, okay, for example here, I'm gonna just put in a 5142. So that's my 9th belt. It's not reflected here because there are only 8 columns. You will need to click on the triple dots edit chart, and then add series, and you see that there is a AF13. So the more of the same kind of item you get, the more of AF13, AF14, you know, they will all just come out accordingly. AF13 was selected, and then you see that I do have 5142 coming out. Okay, so I'll expand the table a bit more. So now there are 9 columns for the sheet which you can use, and you know, if you have more than 9, go ahead and add more. The table will get bigger, okay, so it's really up to you. You may even think of removing the items once they have been successfully added to a set. That is totally fine as well. However, if you don't and you are still confused about what to use, how you want to mix and match during the process of doing all the planning, you can easily denote the weapon and the set that they are in by just typing a number beside it. Maybe this belt was used in set 2, and it'll be grayed out, so you know which of the items have been used up already, and you won't, you know, plan wrongly. And that's all for equipment sets. There is a hidden sheet, which is really the same thing, just compiling all the values from here, and that's how you get the floating table. Okay, so all these columns are free for you, but this is automatically updated, so you don't need to worry about it at all. Just hide it. Then comes the farming sheets. So we have the very classic awakened material sheet. So the only thing you need to edit in this sheet is the bolded rectangles. This is the amount that you have currently in your inventory. The amount that you need will be automatically calculated in the row below based on whatever you have registered, based on the heroes you have registered in the ownership checklist. Okay, so everything will be displayed for you. I did receive some questions about these 2 squares. What does it mean? So you know, when we go to King and we want to upgrade our chalices, okay, for example, but we won't really know how much we need to, you know, check the plus button, such that we do have enough for our other heroes. Because sometimes we urgently need a chalice of a higher rank, but we also have not used up the chalices for the current rank. For example, the 5-star Demon's Blood. So I have 89 on hand, I only need 20. So how many times can I click the plus button? 11. Make sure you see 11 on screen, and once you see 11 on screen, you can safely trade that amount for 6-star chalices, and you will still have the base amount left for your current 5-star heroes. Because if you think about it, 11 times 6 will be 66, and you will still have about 20 left. Okay, so you will have enough for your current 5-star heroes, and you also have 11 new 6-star chalices for your 5-star heroes, and you will still have 20 for your 4-star heroes. Okay, so yeah, so basically that's how this value works. I made it very easy and for you just to look at the number and, you know, compare, so you don't have to manually count anything at all. Limit break sheet. So if you have used this sheet, you will understand how it works. The top and bottom are different. Basically, the top shows you how much you need to farm to get to the next stage, to get a hero to his next stage. The bottom section is about how much you need to farm in total, okay, to get every single hero to level 80. Now that is very intense, so I won't recommend you looking at this because you will just never ever reach it. Look at the top one and also fill in the bolded boxes. Basically, it will tell you whether you lack something or you have more of something, and I think it will also help your farming in terms of books especially. Next up will be the food sheet, and this is totally new. Okay, I haven't released it at all. This is the first time you guys are seeing this, and I'm very happy with it. The food sheet is divided into 3 main sections, actually just 2, but I split the 6 towns in 2 columns. So one column will have 3 towns and the other column will have the other 3 towns. Each of the food will have their effect displayed as well as the amount of gold they can give you per day. Okay, 24 hours. They also have the hero associated with the food and whatever affinity level that you still need to max out the hero's affinity. Okay, so for Diane, remember. So Diane, she has 36,000 affinity for me to fill up. This includes Diane herself, Matrona Diane, as well as the SR Diane. Okay, so all these collectively, that is why this name category column is so important, because it is the one that groups these heroes together. Okay, so going back to the food and ingredient section, all the DN's affinity added up will give me 36,000 I need to complete, and that will amount to having need 360 meat pies. Now take note that DN actually has two favorite dishes, okay, also with the honey roasted chicken matango. So over here it also says 360. However, that is why this box is here. This box lets you choose the amount of food you actually want to cook. So maybe you decide that I'm going to cook 140 meat pies and 220 this honey roasted chicken matango to complete 360 dishes in total. That is also fine. So this is up to you to balance out accordingly. And unfortunately, I haven't found a way to help you do these calculations, but for the time being, this is what I have. Also, what is reflected is the maximum and minimum amount per ingredient you need for cooking that amount of food. So this is directly linked to the black box. Okay, so for 140 meat pies, you will need a minimum of 28H meat, sugar and bay leaf, and 47H meat, sugar and bay leaf maximum. Maximum because we are considering if we get all normal successes, and minimum of course for ultra successes only. So every hero here is listed, and yes, there are some foods that actually have 3 associated heroes. These include Town 6 food actually here. So my spreadsheet is loading, and that's why I said it may lag, so please take a while to scroll. I apparently scrolled too fast, and hence this is happening. So yeah, some of the Town 6 food in future will have 3 heroes associated to it, and that's something you will want to take note about. How you can update this sheet if further heroes are added, for example for the steak and chips, okay? Eventually in future there will be new heroes added. So maybe using Dro as an example, maybe Dro like steak and chips as well. To update this, you can actually... Okay, I'm going to restart the sheet because it's taking really long. Okay, let's just use Marmus, this chicken steak for example. Maybe Dro likes chicken steak, okay? So we can type Dro here. And you will see that there is no image. Why is there no image? Because the formula is not there. So copy any of the image squares and paste it. Dro will appear. Simple. How about this affinity level? Copy this square, paste it. It will automatically update for you because this square is going to take in values from all 3 heroes. So if you have 3 heroes that need the same food, it will calculate all the amount of dishes you need, the total amount of dishes you need, and then you can evaluate from there how much to farm for. Okay. Now on the right side, it shows you how much per ingredient you need in total. Over here it tells you about the dishes and the amount of ingredients you need per dish, but this one takes into account the overall count across all the dishes. So for H meat, of course, it only exists in Town 1. So for example, in this case, I will need 179 minimum to max out the affinity for all the heroes in Town 1. Okay, and so on and so forth. So this will give you a very clear idea of how much to farm during free stage farming if you do want to farm for food ingredients. And yep, that's all for the food ingredient sheet. I hope it helps you for next week's farming. If there's any improvements to be made, do let me know. Then we have the deathmatch sheet, and from here on it's all about PvE modes. So for PvE modes, I previously made this as a picture and posted it on Reddit, and it was never available as a sheet, so this is something new. So all the information about the bosses are here, and you can also see what each of the heroes do and how they contribute to the team. You will also see that the stats of the heroes are displayed, and why is that so? Because this checkbox is clicked. So for example, if you have and want to use Blue Listhawk, you can click on the box and the information should be displayed. Yeah, it will take a while. I mean, it should be more automatic like in this case. So the information will be, and you have a better idea of knowing how your progress is without having to refer to the game, without having to change sheets or whatsoever. So everything is just there for you, just toggle on and off to decide if you want to use the hero. Now how do you actually update this sheet then? Remember the name and type category column I had in the ownership list, which I told you to keep in mind, the one that is in the format of this. So this is how I get the images to come out, and this is how I get all these information to come out as well. So for example, if you do have a new hero that you want to add here, let's just use Blue Diane for example. Okay, so type this and her image will appear. All you need to do is insert a checkbox here. Oops, sorry. All you need to do is insert the checkbox. Okay, and her information should come out if you copy these 3 boxes. Yeah, so that's her information. Okay, you have to copy the boxes across the row and not vertically because of the cell references. So just copy. So let's say you want to make this square available as well, so you will copy these 3 and paste it here. Okay, and basically that's all. So that is why I said that the reference to the hero, that column, is super important because it is the one that lets you get access to all the images and to further build on all the sheets yourself if you do need to, and also applies to all the other rows. Okay, yep, so all these are actually hidden because I don't see the need to have them there for more information because I already know. But if you're still not clear of the heroes and their names, you can leave it there. The same will apply to the training Grotto sheets. So I have an empty column here for future units to be added if they are viable for the training Grotto. I can also hide it because I think the current units are good enough. So same thing, you just have to check the boxes and see what unit you want to use. If the unit you want to use is not here, then feel free to add them in yourself, or if you think that you don't want to edit too much, you can actually just change the name here. So maybe I can put Lilia here even though she's already there, but just for demonstration purposes, yeah, Lilia will still appear here and it will change accordingly as long as you change the boxes. So these are not fixed heroes, okay? They are no longer fixed heroes. Unlike the guide that I made, you can change them on your own depending on what you like. Another thing I edited for this sheet is that I made the skills of the bosses more apparent and easier to read, and everything is more complete now. Also added the name of the boxes as well. Next up is the reverse stage guides. So I think a lot of people have been referring to this and I'm really happy that it helps so many people. Minor changes I would say, but the biggest change is of course the feature that allows you to tick and it will show the information of the hero. Now this is important for reverse stages because I feel that personally for reverse stages there are some cases, for example for Gila, some stages would actually be easier if you use red Gila over blue Gila, and some would prefer that you use blue Gila. So in cases like that, you can actually tick the box, okay, to have a better idea of whether you should be focusing on these units. So currently this Gila is level 65. So is she actually gonna be enough? If she's not, then you can directly look at this and say, okay, since I need red Gila for this stage, I will be building her to maybe 70 or 75. And since I don't need her for this stage, then I will see if I still need red Gila for other stages, and then I'll think again. So that is something you can manually decide and have control over instead of just relying on the guide that I made, because in the guide that I made, I think over time I added more heroes. I used different types of heroes across the various stages, and it didn't really show you which of the heroes that I used. But over here it's gonna be based on your inventory, so it's a lot better for you and a lot easier to see where you should improve on. Also, I added this automatic count, star count. So as long as you update the star count on this column, you will see the totality at the top. And basically that's it for the reverse stage sheet. Just, pick the hero that you need and see their information, decide if you want to improve on them. Next up will be the final boss sheet. I've already opened up the columns for final boss list and melee for you to have a chance to update the sheet yourself. And again, to update the sheet, let me recap. First, you will need to key in the name of the hero. So maybe I want to key in Escanor because they are blue units after all. So as you can see, the formula is already there. So if there's a cell, a new cell, okay, let's just try Jericho here. So the image is not out because the cell is empty. So all you need to do is copy the cell with an image, paste it, and Jericho will come out. Same thing if you tick the box, her information should also be out because it uses the name combination as a reference. Okay, so basically it's very simple to update the sheets. You just need to add in the color, copy the pictures, the formula I would say, and that's all. You're done. If you open up the other hidden sheets here, I also already put in the end and final boss triggers stuff, so till then they are all ready for you. You don't have to scramble around for other images. Unfortunately, I haven't added in Ban, so that will be a future update I will make to the sheet. Next up, we have Tavern Cosmetics. So this is just a checklist, nothing too complicated. Tick what you have or tick what you want, and yeah, that's all. It's just a reference guide for you. Basically, part 5 is all for reference sake. Global schedules are here and JP schedules are here. To update this sheet, it is not too difficult. Basically, let's just say we have a new hero coming out next week. So I'll take any row and paste it. Okay, I will change this to 24, change this to next week's date, which is about maybe say August 11. You have to key in the month first. Okay, so maybe blue, let's just say green Gloxinia or something like that. Change the color of the cell to green, and then no step up, of course. Not sure what's this, and then update the events that are important if you want. So for this calculates the days in between two updates. Okay, so you need to click on the first cell. You see that it's impossible for 400. That's about 40,000 days, so that's not possible. Click on the first cell, click on the cell references. You see that a yellow box is selected and a purple box is selected. The yellow box has to be this box above it. Okay, so it has to be cell reference number 44. Enter and you will get 7 days. This is the total number of days since launch, so it will be n equals this plus the top number. Simple, 162 days, which means we are very near, about 20 days, just 20 days to the half year anniversary. Okay, and basically that's how you update this sheet, and I'll delete this for now. And of course, this is the hero count. So as I said earlier, remember right from the beginning I said there's 96 heroes in the server. Yeah, so just add on, it's all manually updated, and then you have to update the front as well. And yes, basically that's all for the sheet. There's also a change log here which I will just update from time to time if I make any changes. Any future plans for the sheet? Yes, there is, and I'm already working on it. It will include this hero skill effect glossary, which I have yet to really do anything substantial, but I've listed down a few of the effects and also the heroes involved. Again, it uses the same concept of keying the name and then the hero will appear. However, this checkbox is not going to be something you have to tick automatically. It will be based on the first sheet. If you have owned the hero, it will already be ticked for you. That will give you a much better idea of whether you do own the hero already with that particular skill effect, instead of thinking about it. Okay, that's all I have for the sheet. I really hope this new sheet is going to help you in your upcoming farming week, and also in the long term, mainly to check your heroes progress, mainly to check your accounts progress. And if you guys have any questions, do leave them in the comments or also on the Reddit page. And if you have feedback, just let me know as well. And if there are any more updates to the sheet, I will individually post these updates as a post on Reddit. Hopefully it gets approved, and you guys can, you know, just take information from there on. So everything will be also from this sheet, which you can save. Remember to use the sheet, go to File, make a copy, and then there you go, you have the entire sheet for your usage. Okay, so thank you so much for the support once again, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.